Hey guys, what's up? My name is Alyce, and I am a raider in the guild Exiled Power. We are the top 2-day week raiding guild on Arthas. We currently raid 6 hours a week, and we are 13 of 13 Mythic in HFC. We are all putting together some videos of our first impressions for each of the specs coming up in the Legion Pre-Patch, and I will be going over the Holy Priest. Um, I know Holy was not strong in Warlords at all. It's looking like it is actually going to be pretty strong in Legion. They haven't finished all the tuning yet, but it's looking pretty strong, and they're bringing it back to what it was before chakras, which are now gone, which is great. So first of all, we're going to go over our spells. First is Dispel Magic. It dispels magic on an enemy target, removing one beneficial magic effect. Same as it's always been. Divine Hymn is our major raid cooldown. It is a 3-minute cooldown, and it heals all party or raid members within 40 yards for about 70,000 healing over 6.5 seconds. It also increases the healing done to them by 10% for 8 seconds, which is really what this cooldown's about. It does not do as much healing as a Trank does. However, that buff that it gives buffs heals from all of the healers in your raid, which is huge. They also added that the healing is increased by 100% when not in a raid, which means it will actually be useful in dungeons. Which you didn't really use it before because it was just the 10%. Let's see. Next is Fade, which has not changed at all. It is a 30-second cooldown, and you fade out, removing all your threat for 10 seconds. Just a personal defensive. Next is Flash Heal. It is a fast but expensive heal that heals an ally for 46,000 health. So this is a 1.2 second cast, and it costs about 4,500 mana. Or 4,500 mana. So this is going to be your, oh, that person just took a lot of damage and they're probably going to take something in the next 2 seconds that may kill them. So you want to cast your fast heal to try to get them out of that danger zone. The other alternative for the main single target healing is going to be your heal. It actually heals for the same amount as your flash heal. However, it is a 2-second cast, and it's only 2,700 mana. So this really is going to be your go-to filler heal. It's what you're going to be spamming on the tank in your 5-man when there is not really all that much damage going out. Next is your tank cooldown. This is a 4-minute cooldown. It's Guardian Spirit. It calls upon a Guardian Spirit to watch over the friendly target for 10 seconds. It increases their healing received by 60% and prevents the target from dying by sacrificing itself. This sacrifice terminates the effect and heals the target for 40% of maximum health. It is castable while stunned. Now they did add some text to this. It is massive damage amounts will kill the target despite this effect. That's actually not a nerf. It worked like this before. It just never said it in the tooltip. So if you had a tank swap mechanic where, you know, the tank gets a debuff, and if they get that debuff again, it one-shots them, before you could try to use Guardian Spirit on them, and they would die anyway just because it is a one-shot mechanic. It's meant to kill them. Now it just says that it's not going to work on stuff like that. Next is our first damaging ability, which is Holy Fire. It is a 10-second cooldown, and it consumes the enemy in holy flames. It causes 14,576 holy damage and an additional 31,000 holy damage over 7 seconds, and it stacks up to 2 times. Pretty much just going to be using this when questing, unless you're doing dungeons and nobody's taking damage at all. Next is Holy Nova, which is back for Holy. They took it away from us in Warlords and gave it to Disc as a glyph, but now we have it back. So it causes an explosion of holy light around you, dealing 17,491 holy damage to all enemies within 12 yards. It has a 20% chance to reset the cooldown of holy fire if any targets are hit. So they took away the healing component. This is now purely a AoE damage ability. So again, usable in dungeons. You can use it while questing. That's probably the only real places you'll use it. Could also use it in PvP to find, rogues and feral druids, run around spamming your AoE. That's actually a pretty good use for it, but that's about it. Next is our Holy Word Chastise. It is a 1-minute cooldown. You chastise the target for 48,588 holy damage, and it stuns them for 5 seconds. Again, just a damaging ability. Next is one of our big heals. So it is Holy Word Sanctify. It's a whopping 8,000 mana, and it is a 1-minute cooldown. You release Miraculous Light at a target location, healing up to 6 allies within 10 yards for 58,357 healing. So I will show you what this looks like. You cast it on the ground, and there you go. Next is our other miracle heal. It is Holy Word Serenity. It is 6,400 mana and a 1-minute cooldown. Perform a miracle healing an ally for 223,499. Yeah. That's about half my health. There you go. Yeah. Okay, next is Leap of Faith, otherwise called Life Grip. It is a 1.5-minute cooldown. It pulls the spirit of a party or raid member, instantly moving them directly in front of you. I absolutely love this spell. This spell has saved people going off the platform in Manaroth. It has saved people back when they implemented it in Cataclysm. There were bosses that would throw you off platforms, and it's a great spell. Just set it with a mouse over macro. You can cast it without even having to look at your raid frames. Levitate. Same for all priests. Don't think it has changed since they added it into the game. So it levitates a party or raid member for 10 minutes, floating a few feet above the ground, granting slow fall and allowing travel over water. Next is Mass Dispel. Great classic priest spell. So it is a 15-second cooldown, and it dispels magic in a 15-yard radius, removing all harmful magic from 5 friendly targets and 1 beneficial magic effect from 5 enemy targets, potent enough to remove magic that is normally undispellable. Now, they did take that away in Warlords, and you could have added it as a glyph, but they did give it back to us in Legion. So we can once again dispel Pally's Bubble and Mage's Ice Block, and I believe those might be the only 2 that are normally not dispellable. Next is Mass Resurrection. Brings all dead party members back to life with 35% health and mana, cannot be cast while in combat. Now this was a guild perk in Warlords where everybody had it. Now only healers have it. So it's the same thing as it was. However, only healers can mass res now. Next is Mind Control. It is a 1.5 second cast. It controls a mind up to 1 level above yours for 30 seconds. Does not work versus mechanical beings and shares diminishing returns with other disorienting effects. So this is pretty useless as Holy. Shadow and Disc actually have a talent that makes this actually useful because it changes it to a pet. However, Holy does not have this talent. So it's not really worth using unless there is a strange boss mechanic like there was in Naxxramas, where you have to mind control. Or I guess there was one in Blackrock Foundry as well, where you needed to mind control. But outside of that, it's pretty useless. Next is Prayer of Healing. They have actually changed this in Legion. It is a great change. It's a change that we've been asking for. It is a 1.6 second cast and a powerful prayer that heals up to 5 injured allies within 20 yards of the target for 19,435. Yes, they finally changed it to a smart heal. Prior to Legion, it was a group-based heal only, and it only healed within I believe it was 30 yards of the target, but it was only in their group. Now, you cast it on melee. You don't have to beg your raid leader to put all the melee in one group. You don't have to be a pest anymore about that anyway. So next is Prayer of Mending. It is a 1.2 second cast. It places a ward on a party or raid member that heals them for 14,577 the next time they take damage, and then jumps to another party or raid member within 20 yards and jumps up to 5 times, lasts 30 seconds after each jump. This is basically just something you want to have up on your party at all times. You want to make sure that you keep it on cooldown. It's about a 10-second cooldown. And basically it just is free healing while people are taking damage. It's even more effective on fights that have periodic ticking damage. It's just amazing on those. Next is our regular Dispel. It is Purify, and it's a 8-second cooldown. It dispels harmful effects on the target, removing all magic and disease effects. Yep. And next is our Hot. It is Renew, and it fills the target with the Faith in the Light, healing them instantly for 5.3k, and then 32,900 over 15 seconds. We are no longer going to be spamming this because our AoE heals are so good now. In Warlords and MOP, we were spamming Renew, but that should be no more. Next is our single target res. It's just bring an ally back to life with 35% health and mana. Same as it's always been. Shackle Undead is another pretty useless CC. It shackles the target undead enemy for 50 seconds, preventing all actions and movement, and damage will cancel the effect. Yep, there have not been really any undead to use that on. So, yeah. Last is our last DPS ability, and it's Smite. Smites the enemy for 21,864 holy damage and has a 20% chance to reset the cooldown of Holy Fire. When you're questing, dungeon, when there's no healing to be done, yeah, it's pretty much all you're going to use it for. Our first passive is Focused Will. It's the same as it has always been, I believe. Yes. Melee attacks against you will cause you to gain Focus Will, reducing the damage you take by 15% for 8 seconds, and it stacks up to 2 times. So, mostly for PvP and questing. If you get hit by a mob or somebody, you get a damage reduction. Our Mastery, which without absorbs in the raid, is going to be amazing. So your direct healing spells heal for an additional 39% over 6 seconds. Now I will say that I do have, I have 39% mastery in this set, so 39%, so it's about 1% per percentage of mastery. Let's see, and Serendipity, and this has to do with our miracle heals, so it's the Holy Word, Sanctify, and Holy Word, Serenity, and Chastise. So when you cast Flash Heal or Heal, the remaining cooldown on Holy Word Serenity is reduced by 6 seconds. So your single target heals reduce the cooldown on your big single target heal. And when you cast Prayer of Healing, the remaining cooldown on Holy Word Sanctify is reduced by 6 seconds. So again, when you cast your Prayer of Healing only, it reduces the cooldown on your large AoE heal. And then also when you smite, the remaining cooldown on Holy Word Chastise is reduced by 6 seconds. So when you're DPSing, it reduces the cooldown of your DPS Holy Word. And Spirit of Redemption, same as it has been for quite some time. Upon death, you become the Spirit of Redemption for 15 seconds. You cannot move, attack, be attacked, or be targeted by any spells or effects, and your healing spells cost no mana. When the effect ends, you die. So, I know some people did not used to take this talent when it was back in the talent tree. I have always loved this talent. There have been points in the fight on progression where you are pushing the boss and all of your healers are completely and you have like 4% left. And the raid is just taking massive amounts of damage. Your tanks are getting close to dying. This spell can actually save the raid. I have um, actually sacrificed myself to get into Spirit of Redemption so that I am able to heal the raid for that last several percent. And we were actually able to make it through because priests have this kind of spell. So, next we are going to go over the talents. So first is our level 15 talents. It is Trail of Light. When you cast Flash Heal, 40% of the healing is replicated to the previous target you healed with Flash Heal. This one I'm not seeing as very useful until we get in higher gear levels, unless they are able to keep it where mana actually means something. Flash Heal is our expensive heal. I don't see it being able to be spammed repeatedly. And then even with that, the only time I could see this is if you have two tanks and you are primarily tank healing, because you could be switching between the two of them and then it'll kind of act like a pseudo beacon. Next is Enduring Renewal. Your single target healing spells refresh the duration of your renew on the target. So this is basically your old chakra stance, the single target one. So you have renew on your target and you cast a heal or a flash heal on that target, it's going to refresh the duration of renew. That's all it is. And next is Enlightenment. You regenerate mana 10% faster. Now this seems to be the go-to talent in this tier. It's kind of boring because all it is mana regen, but as holy, mana regen is probably one of the best things you can have. Next is the level 30 talents, Angelic Feather, same as it has been, and still a great talent to have. So you place a feather at the target location, granting the first ally to walk through it 40% increased movement speed for 5 seconds. Only 3 feathers can be placed at one time, and it has a maximum of 3 charges. So we'll place some feathers there. And they just make you run faster. There you go. Next is Body and Mind. So this is the new holy spell that replaces Body and Soul, which Disc still actually has. So Body and Mind is a 10-second cooldown, heals the target for 5.8k every 1 second, and increases their movement speed by 40% for 4 seconds. So it's just Holy's version of Body and Soul. So instead of the shield, it's a hot. And last is Desperate Prayer, and it's the same as it has been. Actually, no, it's not. They actually added some more to it. So, Desperate Prayer is a 1.5 minute cooldown. It heals you for 20% of your maximum health and increases your maximum health by 20%, decreasing by 2% every second. So, basically, this is your health pot, 20% heal, and then on top of that, it's giving you another 20% that decays over 10 seconds. Could be good in some fights when you don't need the movement speed. So, level 45 talents. Shining Force is a 1 minute cooldown. Creates a burst of light around a friendly target, knocking away nearby enemies and slowing their movement speed by 70% for 3 seconds. Not all that useful for raiding. Knockbacks are always kind of iffy when you are raiding unless there's something specific that you need to do it for. Also, as healing, you would probably not be in charge of that. So this could probably be used in PvP, it could be used for questing, maybe some dungeons, but you would have to be really careful with it. And Censure, Holy Word Chastise, stuns the target for 5 seconds and is not broken by damage. So this actually reduces the stun from 8 seconds to 5 seconds, but damage does not break it. And Afterlife increases the duration of Spirit of Redemption by 50%. This is probably what my go-to talent for raiding would be. Um, you're not going to plan on dying, but these two are probably going to be pretty useless. So Afterlife would probably be the go-to there. However, for questing, Censure is going to be great. So level 60 talent, Light of the Naru. Serendipity reduces the remaining cooldown on the appropriate holy word by an additional 2 seconds. So when I was reading that before, I guess the baseline is actually 4 seconds, not 6, because I have this talent. So it does reduce it by 6 seconds instead. So if I cast Sanctify and Flash Heal, you can see the cooldown on it going down. So instead of every minute, I can actually cast it a lot faster than that. Alright, next is Guardian Angel. When Guardian Spirit expires without saving the target from death, reduce its remaining cooldown to 90 seconds. So this used to be a glyph. It's useful sometimes. Compared to these other two talents, I'm going to say it's probably not very useful. Yeah. Next is Symbol of Hope. It is our 6-minute cooldown, and it bolsters the morale of all healers in your party or raid within 40 yards, allowing them to cast spells for no mana for 10 seconds, which is going to be awesome. And it's actually kind of pretty. So, 75 talents. Surge of Light is the same as it has been, so your healing spells and smite have an 8% chance to make your next flash heal instant and cost no mana. It has a maximum of 2 charges. So basically, as you are casting, I really haven't gotten one. There's a Surge of Light proc, so the next flash heal is instant. Binding Heal heals you, another friendly target, and a third friendly target within 20 yards for 29,000. It also triggers Serendipity, reducing the remaining cooldown on both Holy Word Serenity and Holy Word Sanctify by 3 seconds. This could be huge. However, it costs a lot of mana. So, it takes the glyph that we did have, which makes it heal a third target, but then it also adds that Serendipity bonus on top of it. Lastly here is Piety. Prayer of Mending now triggers Serendipity, reducing the remaining cooldown on Holy Word Sanctify, which is your AoE heal. This could be really awesome in AoE situations, and then this one's going to be, could also be very good in AoE situations. It's going to depend on the boss for those. So 90 talents are Divinity. When you heal with a Holy Word spell, your healing is increased by 15% for 8 seconds. This seems to be the go-to talent for this, especially while leveling and doing dungeons. Divine Star and Halo have not changed, except for the fact that they now do damage again. So Divine Star is a 15-second cooldown and fires a Divine Star forward 24 yards, healing allies in its path for 8.7k and dealing 14,000 holy damage to enemies. After reaching its destination, the Divine Star returns to you, healing allies and damaging enemies in its path again. This is also a pretty decent talent because you can actually control where it's going. You just have to be careful that you know how far it's going to go so you don't pull extra stuff. And then the last one is Halo. They have changed Halo. It is no longer ranged based, which is probably the best change they could have ever made with this. So it creates a ring of holy energy around you that quickly expands to a 30-yard radius, healing allies for 27,900 and dealing 41,900 holy damage to enemies. So this is back to doing both, although it is a cast. So it will put you in combat. You do have to be careful when you are in dungeons because you will pull extra stuff. Okay. Last tier is this is a new spell. So Apotheosis is a 3-minute cooldown. You enter a pure holy form for 30 seconds, increasing the effects of serendipity by 200% and reducing the cost of your holy words by 100%. So basically, in this spec, your holy words cost no mana, and you are doing 200%, you're pulling them off cooldown 200% faster. This one is Benediction. Your Prayer of Mending has a 50% chance to leave a renew on each target it heals. This could be very good in an AoE, a periodic AoE damage fight. If it's leaving renews, it's kind of like renew spamming, but it's doing the work for you. So it's just extra healing. And then the last, they brought back Circle of Healing as a talent. So it is a level 100 talent. It's 8,000 mana, and it is a 12-second cooldown. It heals up to 5 injured allies within 30 yards of the target for 25,000. In raids, right now, I would probably take Circle of Healing because it is very strong. It is better than Prayer of Healing. It's instant cast. It's going to be great. However, I do want to show you Apotheosis because they did finally give us a holy form. So you get wings, and if you watch the cooldown on this is there you go. Okay. And I will go over, I don't believe my set bonus actually changed anything, and no, they do not. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe to Exiled Power's channel down below, and like the video if you like it, and we will be back with some more for you.